Okay. 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 Oh yeah, I can see people here. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, I'll just introduce myself, right? So my name is Ashwati Nair, and I have pursued my master's in English literature. Um, but I was also a commerce student, just like all of you. I completed my bachelor's in commerce, and I used to always write poetry, right? I used to write poetry since I was in 8th standard. So I was really fond of literature. So I switched courses from BCom to MA, and then I pursued my master's in English literature, and I specialized in Indian writing in English. I specialized in poetry, right? So something that's really different from commerce. But when I received an opportunity to be teaching English to CA students or CS students, this unique experience of having been a commerce student among my batchmates who came from different walks of life, right? And then having a specialization in English really helped me bridge the gap, right? So I think it's like I had to start all over again when I went to pursue an MA in English literature. But eventually, when I started teaching, it really worked out for me. So that's about me. A couple of years ago, I think the chartered accountancy students um, started having a subject which required some proficiency in English. The name of the subject was business correspondence and reporting, right? And I have been engaging lectures for them for the last 3-4 years, ever since the CA Foundation course started. It's only this year that Dushan sir gave me this opportunity to associate with you guys and be your teacher for the subject of business communication. I was taking a look at your business communication syllabus, and I think that your module is really big. And I don't think you should be doing so much for like 50 marks. That's like too much efforts for 50 marks, right? So I think that this like if you divide the syllabus broadly, you can divide it into three categories, right? You can divide it into grammar and vocabulary, and there's so much grammar and vocabulary for you guys, right? You have parts of speech, which is like one of the first lessons you guys did in school, right? Renan Martin. Noun kya hota hai, pronoun kya hota hai, adjective kya hota hai, right? There's sentence correction. So a sentence will be given to you, and the sentence will be divided into different parts, and each part will have an alphabet corresponding to it. And then in the options, you have to like choose the option according to which part of the sentence has an error in it. Um, when teaching sentence correction, I will teach you the most common errors which are there in the English language. Okay, the most common errors in English language are generally preposition, tense, subject verb agreement, right? We'll do all those, and that's how we'll go about with sentence correction, because I can give you like 20 sentences to sit and correct, and they could give you the 21st sentence in the examination, and I thoughts will be in vain. So we'll do like the most common errors in English language, and then we'll try and apply it in class to an exercise with like a couple of sentences. This sentence arrangement, right? This sentence arrangement question is interesting because it's very much in line with paragraph writing. Okay, so we'll do paragraph writing, and then we'll try and solve an exercise with respect to sentence arrangement. Okay, and I think we'll get it right. Okay. um, there's synonyms and antonyms, which we will do together. Synonyms and antonyms, oh, this is so easy, right? म्हणजे आपण कधीपासून केलं अरे समानार्थी शब्द विरुद्धार्थी शब्द आता काय म्हणजे परत करावं लागतं ठीक आहे फाईन there's one word substitution that is a series of words are being used to describe a particular phenomenon, but obviously if you know one word with which you can substitute those series of words, you'll have better command over your language, right? Precisely, you will be able to say what you are trying to say, right? So that's one word substitution for you. There's collocation and idioms, which are features very specific to the English language. So that we really need to look into. Collocations are a set of words which will always appear together in the English language. And idioms are आपले वाक्प्रचार नाही का मराठीमध्ये नहीं तो हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं ना मुहावरे, that is idioms. Okay, तो मराठी मध्ये जे वाक्प्रचार है किंवा हिंदी में जो मुहावरे हैं, अगर आपको किसी और भाषा में ट्रांसलेट करने का प्रयास करेंगे तो बहुत ही भद्दा लगेगा, राइट? काहीतरी भलतंच त्याचा अर्थ होईल, है ना? तसंच इंग्रजीमध्ये जे इडियम्स आहेत ते खूपच लँग्वेज स्पेसिफिक आहेत. प्रत्येक शब्दाचा अर्थ वेगळा असतो. इंडिव्हिज्युअल वर्ड्स हॅव अ डिफरंट मीनिंग, and when put together in the form of an idiom, they have a completely different meaning. So you'll have to learn the origin of different idioms, right? And I think the stories of how these different idioms came into being will really help us recollect these idioms for a longer duration of time. Okay, we also have these fun exercise in class, like I'll make you do crosswords and I'll make you do MCQs, and I'll get it done in class. You don't worry about it. Okay, foreign language words or phrases. Now, when I saw this, I was asking Dushyant sir, why are we teaching kids foreign language words or phrases? But apparently, since you're CS students and law is an integral part of your career, you have to do these foreign language words or phrases because they will be useful to you in your next 2 levels. Okay. The next part into which your syllabus can be divided is listening and writing skills, right? Listening and writing skills, comprehension skills, and paragraph writing. So paragraph writing we'll cover while we are doing sentence arrangement. So that will be like division, tush, tush, right? Comprehension skills is something that we'll have to do, and it's very important. Okay, comprehension skills. What is comprehension skills? You're reading and you are testing your understanding of that particular passage when you try to answer the questions below that passage, right? So it tests not just your when your part of speech is being tested, they are testing if your understanding of noun is good or your understanding of pronoun is good. But comprehension, overall your language skills are being tested, right? So we'll go to comprehension skills, but not before we are done with grammar and vocabulary. Okay, so we'll finish that first, so we are well equipped when we go for comprehension skills. Okay, you have 5 theory chapters. I'm laughing about it because CA students have like 1 theory chapter, and it's common. Like this first chapter of yours, concept of business communication, that is the only chapter CA foundation students have. You have like 4 more things, like you have listening skills, you have business correspondence, you have concept of e-correspondence, and you have common business terminologies. I tried reading some of these stuff, and oh god, I pity you. It's like so much information. But what I have tried to do is, like, did you guys take a printout? Like, did you guys find the time to take a printout of the notes I shared on the group? Oh, Atul, is that so? I'm sorry, dear. I'm not aware about that. I will look into it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Hi, Mihir. Hi, Vishnu. I think Vishnu pinged me, right? Oh, hi, Vishnu. Um, Hi, Vanshika. Hi, Avni. Hey, Abhijit. Um, Hello, Gopal. Hey, Ahana. What's up? Lopamudra. Such a nice name. I mean, is that your name or that's just like your username? I mean, I don't know. Hi, Isha. Guys, so many of you are writing the spelling of ma'am wrong. What is wrong with you guys? Man, when I chose teaching as a career, I never thought I'd be doing this. So, yeah, like I have been teaching for 5 years now, but this is my first time on YouTube, so please be kind. Yes, Isha, that's the correct spelling. Your Isha. Oh, okay. That is the correct spelling. Oh, nice, Lopamudra. Okay. So you can write the whole thing Madam. You're just skipping the D and putting the apostrophe instead of that. So yeah, that's how ma'am is spelled. Um, I wanted to address this particular point where the child says presentation and communication skill is also a part of business communication. One, I will look into it, and two, when I condensed the syllabus and came up with these topics to discuss, I also checked some past exam papers, and most questions were being asked from these topics. And since we have only 30 hours, right, we have only 15 days in hand. उसके बाद तो तुम्हारा पेपर है, right? तो ये 15 दिन में जो 30 घंटे हमें मिल रहे हैं, उसमें हम जितना कर सकते हैं उतना करेंगे, ठीक है ना? So I think if you do this, you'll be well equipped for the examination. That is my estimate. Okay? But I'm thankful to you for bringing that to my attention. If time permits, definitely we'll take it in class. Okay? I have lessons ready for them. Time is the constraint. Okay? Now, can we move on to like our first chapter today? Is that good? Okay. Concept of business communication. That is our first chapter, right? I would greatly appreciate it if you, who are watching online and you guys in class here, could you like put aside your module? You don't need that. Okay? That's like too much information. Information overload हो जाता है ना, एक पॉइंट के बाद बच्चे खुद ही रिजेक्ट करने लगते हैं information. ठीक है ना? तो वो जो ग्रंट वर्क करना था ना, पढ़ के सब कंडेंस करके जो करना है वो मैंने कर लिया है, ठीक है ना? वो जो नोट्स मैंने आपको दिए हैं, प्लीज क्या आप वो ओपन कर सकते हो? दैट विल बी यूजफुल टू यू. आप फोन पे ओपन कर लीजिए अगर आपके पास प्रिंट आउट नहीं है तो. एंड I don't know, what are you? You're my YouTube fam? Is that what you are? Please, can you, like, if you have a printout, that'd be great. If not, for today at least, please open the soft copy. Okay. Yeah. Do you have the soft copy ready? Are we good? Huh. From tomorrow, please make sure that you have a printout, everyone, okay? Because as we are discussing in class, you can underline stuff. Whatever examples I give, you can jot them down. And there is an exercise which you can solve in class, okay? And there are also 2 crosswords which I have given for homework. So eventually you'll have to take a printout. If you have to solve the crossword, you'll have to take a printout, right? So try and take the printouts before class from tomorrow. Okay? Before we proceed with this, there's this very general bhashan which I give before every class. So I'm going to give it to you also. Okay? Many times I see that when I'm going to take an English class, children who come to class are so scared of English, right? They're so scared of English. And it's very unfortunate, but most of the times this fear towards the English language comes from a traumatic experience when they first interacted with the language and they didn't have any clue about it, or maybe one of the first teachers who taught them English did not do a good job, or sometimes they have classmates who made fun of them or made them feel uncomfortable when they attempted to speak in the language, right? which is quite unfortunate. So in my very first class, like I just want to tell you guys, I just want to put this out there. English is not a measure of intelligence. It's just any other language. मराठी आहे, हिंदी है, वैसे ही इंग्लिश है. मेरे को मलयालम भी बोलना आता है. तो മലയാളം ഉണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെയാണ് ഇംഗ്ലീഷും. Just another language, right? वो तो अंग्रेजों ने दुनिया भर पे हुकूमत किया, राइट? तो जो भसड़ मचाई उन्होंने वो तो अलग, पर एक छोटा सा अच्छा काम वो करके गए कि वो हम सबको एक ऐसी लैंग्वेज देके गए जो हम सबको यूनाइट करता है, राइट? English is easy to learn and English is the lingua franca of the world, right? So it's a skill that you want to pick up because it will become like a bridge for you to showcase your intelligence, right? तो मुझे इंग्लिश नहीं आती तो कुछ कम है मुझ में या फिर it's a disadvantage. It's not. It's really not, right? It's not a disadvantage. It's a skill which can be an advantage if you pick it up. So come with an open mind to class and do your classes with me. In class, while I'm explaining, I'll be explaining in English primarily because I want you to hear that much English, right? My English over a period of time had deteriorated because I didn't have a group of people with whom I was using that language. 3 years when I was in commerce, I had a very Hindi speaking gang at the time. So my Hindi was really good. And then when I started pursuing my MA in English literature, I had this English speaking gang and my Hindi just took a turn for the worse, right? उसके बाद जब मैं क्लास में पढ़ाने लगी और मुझे दिखाई देने लगा कि बच्चों को हिंदी चाहिए, तो I had to make a conscious effort to learn Hindi all over again, right? So it's just another language. Come with an open mind. Do my classes regularly. I give thoda homework. Please do my homework regularly. And I think if you do this much now, it's enough for your it's enough to clear your 50 marks paper. And because we are doing this thing regularly, 15 दिवसांसाठी दररोज 2 तास आपण हे करणार आहे. अगर आप रेगुलरली मेरे साथ ये करोगे ना हर रोज 2 घंटे, it will impact your language. Just give me your absolute and unconditional attention for 2 hours every day. Are we good? And the homework that I give you, it will not require more than 20 minutes. And until and unless you sit individually in front of a blank sheet of paper or in front of an exercise which is not solved, with no teacher in class, with no classmate next to you, individually just me and the language, until you interact with the language, it will not become your own. One-on-one date पे जाना पड़ेगा, तब बात आगे बढ़ेगी, right? So you have to sit with the exercise all by yourself and solve it. कैसे होता है ना क्लास में थोड़ा तुम जहां कम पढ़ते हो वहां मैं बता देती हूँ, तुम जहां कम पढ़ते हो वो तुम्हें बता देती है. एक सिनर्जी होता है ना, तो इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे हम कितने पानी में हमें समझ में नहीं आता, इसलिए वो होमवर्क जरूरी है. ओके, सो 2 things, 3 things. Okay, हाँ. 1, absolute and unconditional attention in class. 2, regular homework. Okay, and 3, please have printouts so that you can take notes in class. You should be an active listener in class. क्लास में क्या हो रहा है इसमें तरफ पूरा मेरा ध्यान कब होगा, जब टीचर जो बोल रही है उसे मैं केवल सुन नहीं रही. हियरिंग एंड लिसनिंग आर 2 different things. हियरिंग इज कानाचा पड़ जाए और आवाज पड़ता है, that's hearing, right? Listening is when you are listening and understanding. Hearing and understanding is listening. Hearing plus understanding equal to listening. Okay, so that's listening, and I want you to be an active listener in the classroom. Having printout of the notes and writing things on it will ensure that you're an active listener. Okay, we have only 15 days in hand. उसके बाद तो तुम्हारा सेल्फ स्टडी भी नहीं, तुम्हारा डायरेक्ट एग्जाम ही है, right? So just give me these 15 days and I am like 99% sure that this will make a great impact in your attempt. Okay, and on your language overall, it will make an impact. Just come with an open mind to class and take full advantage of this opportunity. Are we good? Shall we begin? Okay, I don't know how I'm doing on YouTube. Oh God. हिंदी ही बोलिए ना प्लीज, मेरा हिंदी थोड़ा सा फनी है ना. That's why these people are telling, na? No, it's good. Okay. मुझे कुछ कुछ समझ आया. Okay. മലയാളികൾ ആരുമില്ല, അങ്ങനെ അവൻ വഴിയില്ലല്ലോ. There has to be some Malu. Okay. Anyway. Oh, thank you, Dushyant sir. Thank you so much. He's welcomed me into the class. He's come online. That's sweet. Okay. Anyway, let's proceed. We have only 30 hours. Okay, let's make most of what we have. What is communication, right? So while I was going through the module, I picked up those things which were integral to the chapter, and I picked up those aspects from the module which I felt will translate into an MCQ format and will appear in your paper. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, everybody, eyes on the screen or eyes on the notes which have been given to you. Okay, what is communication? Now, before we read what is written, just look at that picture. Just look at that picture. Such a good job, right? Now, first step, developing idea by sender, right? अगर मुझे कोई भी चीज कम्युनिकेट करना है तो कम्युनिकेशन जो है वो यहाँ पे नहीं चालू होता है, यहाँ पे चालू होता है, राइट? डेवलपिंग आइडिया बाय सेंडर, मैं सोचती हूँ उसके बाद मैं उसे आर्टिकुलेट करती हूँ, राइट? So, developing idea by sender is the first step in communication. So, if a question comes in the examination that says, which is the first step in communication? It's developing idea by sender. Okay. Next step is to encode that message. Okay. Now, encoding depends on who the receiver of the message is. Right. Now, if I am encoding a message when I am at home with my amma, I will not speak in English, right? I will definitely not speak in Marathi. She will not get the head or tail of it, right? I will encode it in Malayalam because that is the language in which we communicate. But if I speak in Malayalam in class right now, no, right? So that's the thing. I have to encode it in a language depending on the receiver. Me and the receiver should be able to understand the message. Okay, so that's how you encode. Next step is transmission of message. Now you guys are available over here, so I'm taking a face-to-face class for you, but I have to ensure that I choose YouTube as a channel for communication because there are children who can't be here, right? So that is transmission of message where I choose a channel. Okay, then the receiver receives the message. The receiver decodes the message because I have encoded it in a language in which the receiver will be able to decode. Okay, decodes the language. The receiver can either accept the message, use the message and give me feedback, or the receiver can reject the message and give me the feedback that the message has been rejected. ठीक है? तो वो जो यूसेज वाला स्टेप है ना वो ऑप्शनल है, ठीक है ना? पर बाकी के स्टेप्स जो है वो हमेशा ही कम्युनिकेशन में होंगे. डेवलपिंग आइडिया बाय सेंडर, then I'll encode the message, then I'll choose a channel, I'll transmit the message, you guys will receive the message, okay? You'll decode it, you'll accept it and use it, or maybe you'll reject it, but either ways you will give feedback. You'll let me know how it went, okay? So that's what communication is, right? What is communication? Communication comes from the Latin word communis, which means to share. Underline communis, underline to share. I don't know if you ask me, मैम क्यों ऐसे कर रहे हैं, Latin word हमें क्यों याद रखना है? नहीं, वो MCQ में पूछ सकते हैं, इसलिए. Underline communis, underline to share. Okay? जो नोट्स मैंने आपको दिए हैं उसमें है, देखो ये सब कुछ है उसमें, और उसमें इन शॉर्ट है, फटाफट रिवीजन होगा आपका. तो आप ये जो मैं बोल रही हूँ ना अंडरलाइन वगैरह करने को, वो प्लीज उस नोट्स में कीजिए. मतलब एग्जाम के एक दिन पहले आपके पास ब्लैंक चीजें नहीं होंगी, आपके पास सब कुछ लिखा हुआ होगा. योर रिविजन शुड गो लाइक दिस. I mean, it's a 50 marks paper. How much time will you invest in it, right? It has to be really, really quick. Okay. Communication comes from the Latin word communis, which means to share, right? For communication to be successful, the exchange of ideas and information must result in imparting and understanding its intended meaning. तो एक कम्युनिकेशन सक्सेसफुल हुआ या नहीं, ये आप जज किस बेसिस पे करोगे कि आपको जो बोलना था रिसीवर ने वही समझा या नहीं, ठीक है ना। बहुत से बार हम हमारे दोस्तों के साथ बात कर रहे होते हैं, कोई अनबन हो जाती है तो हम हमारे दोस्तों को बोलते हैं यार मेरा वो मतलब नहीं था, isn't it? You tend to say that that's not what I meant, right? So when you say that's not what I meant, what are you saying? You're indirectly saying that communication has failed. The receiver has not understood the same thing in the same sense. मेरे ख्याल से लॉ में भी है ना ये कहीं तो, understanding the same thing in the same sense. I don't know, contract partnership somewhere it is there. Okay, हाँ, कॉमर्स की गलियां हम छोड़ा है बहुत पहले, बट ऐसे कुछ तो कहीं तो पढ़ा हुआ याद आ रहा है, हाँ ठीक है. So for communication to be successful, the exchange of ideas and information must result in imparting and understanding the intended meaning. वो intended को ऐसे ऐसे लाइन मार के रखो, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. intended meaning समझ में आना चाहिए, तब हम बोलते हैं कि कम्युनिकेशन जो है वो सक्सेसफुल है, ठीक है. हाँ, Are we good with this? समझ में आए? इससे रिलेटेड कोई क्वेरी है? इस स्लाइड पे कोई क्वेरी है क्या? Oh God, Gautam, please. No, my dear. Medium is Ahana. Ahana is not in class, right? Ahana is online, right? I'm sorry. What is your name? Isha. हाँ, ठीक है. No, Ahana. Medium and channel are the same thing. Medium is when you choose the channel for communication. Sometimes medium is also used to reflect the language of communication. But when we say encoding and transmission into separate this, encoding refers to the code or the language that you choose, and transmission reflects the medium, that is the channel of communication. Whether I'm emailing it to you, or whether I'm calling you over the phone, or whether I'm, like taking a video lecture like now. Okay, so that will be that. Not even a single doubt. Hey Bhagwan. Okay, fine. Okay, now we saw what is communication, right? है ना? हाँ. Let's narrow it down and further see what is business communication, because that's what's relevant to us, right? Communication क्या है? ठीक है, fine. दिमाग में आइडिया आया, एनकोड किया, ट्रांसमिट किया, सेंडर को मिला, उसने डीकोड किया, यूज किया, फीडबैक दिया, यूज नहीं किया, रिजेक्ट किया, फीडबैक दिया, जो भी है. तो बेसिक कम्युनिकेशन क्या है ये हमें समझ में आया. लेकिन एज स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ कॉमर्स तुम्हारे मतलब का तो बिजनेस कम्युनिकेशन है ना. तो लेट्स सी व्हाट इज बिजनेस कम्युनिकेशन. व्हेन वन कम्युनिकेट्स टू ट्रांजैक्ट, वो ट्रांजैक्ट को लाइन मारो, CS बनने तक किताबों को ही लाइन मारो. When one communicates to transact some commercial activity, it is termed as business communication. Okay? तो किसी कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी को ट्रांजैक्ट करने के लिए या फिर किसी कमर्शियल मतलब को हासिल करने के लिए when you communicate, it is called business communication. Business communication is when you are engaging in communication to achieve a goal, a professional goal. It's called business communication. Are we good? ठीक है? हाँ. Okay. So that is business communication. Let's look at some features of business communication so it will become more clear to us what exactly is business communication. Okay? Business communication, they are telling us, is a two-way process. The success or failure of which is determined by the feedback. Okay? We saw this in that image of us, right? It is a two-way process. I am communicating, I am getting feedback. Two-way process. The success or failure of which is determined by feedback. From the feedback, I know if the message I communicated has been accepted and used, or if it has been rejected. Okay, so it's the feedback that determines whether the communication has been successful or not. Okay, it's an ongoing process continuously, because the moment I get feedback, again I'm developing an idea, then I'll communicate that, then again I'll get feedback. The moment I receive feedback, again I have an idea. So it's an ongoing process. And what is the aim of this ongoing process? Where sender tries to communicate persuasively and competently. ठीक है ना? तो I want something from the other person, right? I want the other person to see how what I want is also a common goal. Isn't it? अभी अगर मैं इंग्लिश का क्लास ले रही हूँ यूपीएससी के बच्चों के लिए, तो आप मेरी क्लास में आके बैठोगे क्या? नहीं. मैं इंग्लिश का क्लास सीएस के लिए अगर ले रही हूँ तो इंग्लिश पढ़ाने का मेरा गोल मैं हासिल कर रही हूँ, लेकिन उसमें जब तक आपको अपना गोल नहीं नजर आए आप उसमें कोऑपरेट करोगे क्या? नहीं, राइट? So that's the thing. It's an ongoing process where sender tries to communicate persuasively and competently. Okay, तो मैं जो बोल रही हूँ वो आपको कन्विंस करना चाहती हूँ मैं. ठीक है? Consists of facts, ideas and emotions. There will be facts, there will be ideas, and there will be emotions when anything is communicated. And how will it be communicated? Through words and non-verbal communication. Okay? ये देखो बच्चों, यहाँ पे WORDS वर्ड्स लिखा है ना, प्लीज उसको लाइन मारो और उसके ऊपर लिखना वर्बल, VERBAL, वर्बल, ऐसे लिख के रखो प्लीज. ठीक है? तो जब हम कम्युनिकेट करते हैं, बहुत से बार हम ऐसे सोचते हैं यार आई जस्ट स्टिक टू द फैक्ट्स, बट इट नेवर हैपेंस लाइक दैट. आपने ध्रुव राठी के वीडियोस अगर देखे हैं तो इनिशियली वो जो भी जिस भी मुद्दे पे उसने रिसर्च किया है उसके बारे में वो फैक्ट्स बोलता है, लेकिन एंड में हैशटैग डाल के ओपिनियन बताता ही है ना, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं तुम्हारे इंडिविजुअल आइडियाज निकल ही जाते हैं, राइट? सेम थिंग, वी आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, वी आर इमोशनल क्रीचर्स, योर इमोशन विल कम इनटू द कॉन्वर्सेशन, राइट? तो how do you communicate effectively? You should make sure that whichever opinion you say, whatever emotions you are expressing, are always rooted in facts. कि तुम जो कुछ भी बोल रहे हो वो वेरीफाइबल होना चाहिए सामने वाले व्यक्ति के लिए. ओके? 7 C's ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन जब हम आगे देखेंगे तो हम ये डिटेल में देखेंगे. ठीक है ना? हाँ, एनीवे जस्ट बताया आपको यहाँ पे. So business communication जो है it consists of facts, ideas, emotions, and how do you communicate verbally and non-verbally. Okay? मैंने वहाँ verbal क्यों नहीं लिखा? क्योंकि जब मैं generally verbal बोलती हूँ ना तो बच्चे सोचते oral. Verbal means where words, WORDS, words have been used. Understood? Verbal means where WORDS, words have been used. फिर वो ओरल भी हो सकता है, रिटन भी हो सकता है, वो विजुअल भी हो सकता है, यानी कि यहाँ पे कोई तो ग्राफ दिखाया मैंने आपको या पाई चार्ट दिखाया मैंने आपको, राइट? दैट विल कम अंडर वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन, रिटन, ओरल एंड विजुअल. ओके? एंड देन देयर इज नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन, जो मैंने आपको क्लास के शुरुआत में पूछा कि शैल वी बिगिन, राइट? सो दिस इज लाइक नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन, राइट? सो दैट्स नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन. So all of these are like features of communication. There are some more. Shall we look at them? Okay. Any query in these 3 points? Nothing. Okay. I don't know. सगळं समजतंय, काहीच समजत नाहीये. कुछ भी हो सकता ना. हे नंद कुमार, प्रेरणा, हाय. मेरे सीए के बच्चे यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हैं? Oh God. Hi Sandhya, what's up? Okay. 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 Huh. Since you guys have no query, let's move on. Communication is a dynamic process. What does the word dynamic mean? Dynamic means something that's constantly evolving. Okay, something that's changing. It's a dynamic process incorporating the changes in the participants. Okay. Am I good to go? Like, can I continue with the class? Okay. So they're telling us that communication is a dynamic process incorporating the changes in the participants and the environment, right? For example, if I get a call right now that conveys some sad news, then I will be sad, right? And that will reflect in my communication. So it's a dynamic process. It is ever changing, ever evolving. And what does it evolve with? It incorporates the changes in the participants. I'm hip and happy right now. So it reflects on my communication. If I become sad, that will reflect in my communication, right? So it's a dynamic process incorporating the changes in the participants and the environment. Okay, तुम्हारा जो environment है उसके भी changes तुम्हारे communication को affect करेगा. Feeling really hot right now. So I don't know. Am I talking too fast? Does it reflect in my communication? Okay, yeah. So basically, it's a dynamic process, something that's evolving and ever changing. Okay. Communication is always goal oriented. Well, what about when we gossip? Okay, even when you gossip, it's goal oriented, not time pass kar raha hai, right? So it's always goal oriented. When you're communicating, you're trying to achieve a specific purpose. I'm trying to achieve this purpose with this communication ki 30 घंटे में मुझे ये बच्चों का ये सब्जेक्ट निकालना है, right? So that's my aim. That's what I'm going for. So it's a goal oriented process which becomes effective if both sender and receiver are working towards common goals. So are you guys like with me? Are you with me? Are you working with me? If we have this common goal of clearing this examination and we're investing 30 hours in it together, we can get through, right? So it's goal oriented process which becomes effective if both sender and receiver are working towards a common goal. I hope you're working towards a common goal. Okay. Communication is also an interdisciplinary science. Interdisciplinary science यानी कि क्या? Interdisciplinary अलग-अलग sciences इसमें involved है. तो communication effectively कैसे करना है? ये केवल psychology से हमें नहीं पता चलेगा. उसमें anthropology भी involved है, जो body language है. ठीक है? Anthropology is the study of body language, right? So that is involved. Psychology is involved. How much your mind influence? How much the state of your mind influences the way in which you communicate. Social and political sciences, where they study behavior of human beings evolving over a period of time. All of this influences communication. Okay? Just read these 3 points. Ask me if you have any query. Guys on YouTube, you can ask me if you have a query in the chat. Your name is Pani Puri and you're calling me cute. Sorry? हाँ क्या? बच्चे नहीं है क्या? Oh God. This is a thing with YouTube. Okay. हमारे क्लास में आया तो हमने उसे बच्चा मान लिया. Okay. Are we good? Shall we proceed? Okay. No doubt. Okay, Gautam. You're cool. Okay. हम कोई भी चीज पढ़ते हैं ना तो हमें पता होना चाहिए कि वो हम क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, right? You should know why you are investing your time and energy in this. Hence, CS Institute has made sure to let you know what is the importance of communication, right? So once you are a qualified professional and you are in a working environment, how will these lessons which you are studying in CS Foundation come handy to you in an actual work environment? That is something we have to see, right? So look at this. One of the first things that they are telling you is that businesses these days have increased in size. Hence, communication needs to be consciously invested in, right? Look at the point that they're saying. Organizations employ thousands of people from different parts of the world, making efficient communication essential for smooth functioning of business, right? I'll explain this point, but let me read the second point as well. I'll combine it and explain. Okay. The second point that they're telling is growing specialization. What is growing specialization? एक प्रोडक्ट जो बनता है वो एक जगह नहीं बनता है और उसके बनाने के प्रोसेस में केवल एक व्यक्ति इन्वॉल्व नहीं होता है, राइट? ये फोन ही अगर आप देख लो तो इसके अलग अलग पार्ट्स अलग अलग जगह बनते हैं और उसके बाद एक चौथी जगह पे वो असेंबल होता है, राइट? तो ये सारे लोगों में कम्युनिकेशन अगर सही नहीं है तो क्या एक अच्छा फोन बन पाएगा? मैं जो कंट्रीब्यूट कर रही हूं उस फोन के मेकिंग में, उसके बारे में मुझे पता होना चाहिए। नेक्स्ट व्यक्ति उस फोन के जिस पार्ट को बना रहा है उसके और मेरे में अगर कम्युनिकेशन सही नहीं है तो जो एंड प्रोडक्ट आएगा वो सही होगा क्या? नहीं होगा ना। तो ये दो मुद्दे देखो, वन, इंक्रीज इन साइज। बहुत ज्यादा लोग इन्वॉल्व है आज की डेट में हर बिजनेस में, और ये जितने ज्यादा लोग, टू मैनी कुक स्पॉइल द ब्रॉथ, ऐसे बोलते हैं ना इंग्लिश में। लेकिन ये हमें क्या बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा है? इफ योर कम्युनिकेशन इज इफेक्टिव, if you have good communication skills, too many cooks will not spoil the broth. These cooks will be in sync because communication is good, right? And why is it important to invest in communication? अगर ये पूरा फोन में अकेले बैठ के बनाऊं तो इसके हर पार्ट में परफेक्शन नहीं आएगा, राइट? If I'm making this phone on an individual level, if I'm manufacturing all the parts all by myself, it's not necessary that I will be able to offer the quality that you will get if people who specialize in making different spare parts of the phone make it and then a fourth team assembles it. So to bring optimum quality to you, it is essential that I invest in communication instead of investing in workforce where every person is doing everything, right? So these are the 2 points. One, increase in size. Another is growing specialization. Okay, look at increase in size. Organizations employ thousands of people from different parts of the world, making efficient communication essential for smooth functioning of business. नहीं तो इतने सारे लोग हैं, ठीक से communication नहीं है, there will be absolute chaos, right? Growing specialization. A large activity is divided into small steps with different activities being handled by different departments, making communication essential for ensuring mutual cooperation. मैं जो पार्ट बना रही हूँ, वो जो पार्ट बना रहा है, हम में कोऑपरेशन होगा तब जो एंड में मोबाइल फोन बनेगा अच्छा बनेगा, राइट? हाँ. There's cutthroat competition, right? Liberalization and globalization have made persuasive communication in the form of advertisements, personal contacts, and publicity essential to survive, right? बहुत से बार ऐसा होता है ना that you buy a product not because you really need the product. You just do it because you've seen the advertisement so many times that your mind is telling you that you need it, right? So when we think of business communication, we generally just think of communication between colleagues or communication with our superiors or communication with our juniors in a working environment. That's not the case. Communications like advertisement, whatever personal contacts you make, whatever networking you do at informal office events like dinner parties and conferences, okay? All of this, whatever work you do in public relations, all of this is business communication. Are we good? Just take a minute, read this slide, ask me if you have any queries. Any word or phrase you don't understand, we will not move on till you tell me that you have perfectly understood it. Okay? Also, I need water. Really? That good? ये तो बोल रहे सब समझ रहा है करके. Good Lord. ठीक है, देखो मैं होमवर्क देने वाली हूँ, ठीक है ना? तो उसमें मुझे पता चल ही जाएगा. हाँ. No word, no phrase is like confusing you. You're good with everything. Okay. Liberalization is a process in which whatever tax laws are there, or whatever laws are there कि ये product तुम import कर सकते हो, ये नहीं कर सकते हो, all of that you do a relax those so that free trade is possible, right? Globalization is when you are growing your business across different continents and people from different countries are involved. You're the social media generation, you know all this. I mean, बुड्ढा वाला feeling आ रहा मेरे को अभी. Okay, we are good, right? Shall we proceed? Huh. Okay. Increase in. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, slide duplicate हो गया था. So these are the principles of effective communication. जो मैं 7 C's बोल रही थी ना, कुछ principles है effective communication के. अगर ये principles तुम follow करोगे, तो जब तुम communicate करने की कोशिश करोगे, तो तुम्हारा communication अच्छा ही होगा. Okay? So if you follow these 7 principles, 7 or 8 I think are there. If you follow these in your communication will definitely be effective. And when I say effective, what do I mean? We saw in the beginning of the class. What do you mean when you say that communication will be effective? The receiver will understand your message in the same sense. Okay? Whatever is your intended message, it will be delivered properly. Okay? Communication should be free of ambiguity and vagueness. What is ambiguity? When the same thing in the same context means more than one thing. That is ambiguity. Okay? What is vagueness? Communication that is unclear is called vague. Okay? Ambiguity. In a particular context, the same word has more than one meaning. और मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है मैं इसका कौन सा मीनिंग यहाँ पे समझ के लूँ. Right? For example, if you take a word like ruminating, right? I just put it in my YouTube chat. If you take a word like ruminating means thinking, right? But ruminating also means the process by which cows and buffaloes digest their food. वो खाते वक्त जल्दी जल्दी खा लेते हैं, right? उसके बाद वो बैठ के जो चबाते बैठते हैं ना, उसे भी ruminating बोलते हैं. So in a context when the word ruminating comes, depending on the context, I need to think कि कौन सा meaning यहाँ applicable है. Okay? Are we good? Do you understand? Huh. So preferably don't use words which are ambiguous. Okay? Don't use words which are vague. That is unclear. Okay? Second, always use simple language. When I say simple language, what am I trying to say? वो बताया है उन्होंने. Simple language को define किया है उन्होंने आपके लिए. It should be brief. That is, you use less number of words and convey more meaning. Okay? Brief. Acquainted. Don't go all Shashi Tharoor on me. Use words which a layman will also be acquainted with. Okay? And effortless. Don't make me reach out for a dictionary here. Unless you are an English teacher. I get to do that. You don't get to do that. Okay? Huh. So, yeah. So, use simple language. Right? Third point, they're saying, don't use ornamental language. Ornamental language looks good in books. You know, like you're reading a book of fiction, you're reading poetry. There's ornamental language. It looks good. It feels good. Right? But in business communication, if you're using ornamental language, you are expecting your receiver to invest more efforts than required. And as a receiver, if I have to invest efforts in understanding your communication, if I'm not able to easily understand your communication, it means that your communication isn't good enough. Right? So don't use ornamental language. Pick conversational words and phrases rather than poetic devices. Right? Construct grammatically correct sentences and break the text into paragraphs. Grammatically correct sentences are very important. Meaning ही change हो जाता है, right? So grammatically correct sentences are important. Break the text into paragraphs. If you give me such a huge chunk of information, I will not want to read it, right? But if you break the same thing into small paragraphs with one idea being explored in one paragraph, I will want to read it, right? It's easy for me to process the information. It's easy for me to recollect that information at a later point in time. है कि नहीं? है कि नहीं? हाँ. पूरा ध्यान मेरे तरफ, इधर उधर ध्यान नहीं देना. Construct grammatically correct sentences and break the text into paragraphs. Okay? If what you are explaining is something that is complex, make sure that there is visual support. Okay? विजुअल सपोर्ट, वो जो स्टार्टिंग में हमने डेफिनेशन देखा कम्युनिकेशन का, राइट? आपके मॉड्यूल में अगर आप देखोगे तो उन्होंने एक इमेज दिया है बाद में, लेकिन जहां पे वो कम्युनिकेशन को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं ना, उन्होंने इतना बड़ा चंक ऑफ पैराग्राफ दिया है आपको. मैंने वो एक इमेज में कंडेंस कर दिया. क्यों? क्योंकि मुझे ऐसे लगा कि वो जो प्रोसेस है उसको अगर मैं विजुअल सपोर्ट दूं तो आप ज्यादा वक्त तक याद रख पाओगे. अंडरस्टूड? सो दैट्स हाउ यू यूज विजुअल सपोर्ट फॉर क्लैरिटी इन कम्युनिकेशन. Right? Avoid use of jargons. What are jargons? Jargons are words which are very field specific. Okay? For example, the foreign language words which we are going to do in class, if you use them in your general conversation outside of your CS circle, or if you're speaking with someone who's from a non-law background, that person will not get head or tail of it. But if you're speaking and you're using those words within your CS circle or within a person who's, familiar with legal language, that person will get it. ठीक है ना? So those words are jargons which are field specific, right? For example, if I say soliloquy, you will not understand what that is. That is a very literature specific word. तो literature के बच्चों का jargon है वो commerce के बच्चों को आना जरूरी नहीं है. राईट? अंटिल अनलेस तुम्ही खूप नाटक वगैरे बघत असाल तर तुम्हाला ते कळेल. नटसम्राट वगैरे बघितलं असेल तर कळेल तुम्हाला ते. राईट? हा. So jargons are words which are specific to particular fields. Avoid using them. If you're communicating within your circle, fair enough. Otherwise, make sure that instead of using a jargon, use the explanation of that jargon so that the message is communicated effectively. Okay? Yeah, so that's it. That's about clarity. Communication should be free of ambiguity and vagueness. Ambiguous नहीं होना चाहिए, यानी कि एक वर्ड एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट में उसका एक से ज्यादा मतलब नहीं निकलना मांगता. वेग नहीं होना चाहिए, अनक्लियर नहीं होना चाहिए. Simple language, no ornamental language, construct grammatically correct sentences, break the text into paragraphs, use visual support wherever the idea that you are speaking about is complex, and don't use jargons. Okay? Are we good? सब ऐसे कर रहे रे. सही है क्या? मतलब सब ठीक है, सब समझ आ रहा है तुमको? हाँ क्या? ओके ओके ओके. और मैं सोच रही थी तुम भलते लेवल ब्रिलियंट हो. ओके ओके ओके. Are we good? Okay. Next, completeness. Okay? Whatever idea you are communicating, it should be complete. Now, when I'm saying complete, what am I trying to say? You should equip the receiver with sufficient amount of information to enable the receiver to make an informed decision. That is completeness. कि मेरे पास उतना इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल है जिससे कि ठीक से सूझबूझ करके मैं एक निर्णय ले सकूं. ओके? दैट इज कंप्लीटनेस. Just a minute. Amal, is the lecture still going on? Because it said something to me like you've logged out of Zoom or something. It said to me. Sorry? My lecture stopped? It is going on? Sorry? Okay, fine. I'm so sorry, something came up. I'm doing this for the first time. I get anticipatory bill. Huh. Okay, fine. Okay, let's do this. That's completeness. Okay. So when you want your message to be complete, what are the things that you will do? Convey all required data. So think a little bit. What is the information that the other person will require to be equipped with to make an informed decision? ठीक है ना? Convey all required facts that the other person will need. It enhances your reputation when you give complete information to another person and that person doesn't have to constantly peg you with doubts, or that person lacks information to make an informed decision and he's constantly bothering you. Less efforts on that person's part towards successful communication will ensure that completeness works in your favor. Okay? Since no crucial information is missing, no additional cost is incurred in conveying the extra message. Okay? For example, the notes that I have sent you. Okay? Suppose you guys took a printout of it. And later on I say, oh, I missed out on so and so. This also I have to put in. So I send you another PDF. Again, you have to take printout. Your efforts are double. Your cost of taking printout is double. Right? So don't do that. Since no crucial information is missing in a complete message, no additional cost is incurred in conveying extra message. Okay? Leaves no question in the mind of the receiver. When the message is complete, there is no question in the mind of the receiver. There is no doubt. That will work in your favor. Okay? The receiver will be able to make better decisions. Okay? And when you are continuously practicing this principle of completeness, it builds a trust factor, right? And your audience will be easily convinced by you when you communicate next. Okay? कि नहीं यार, वो तो पूरा सब कुछ बताते ही है उनका. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो आफ्टर सेल सर्विस नहीं देने वाले, ये वो छुपाते हैं, या फिर वारंटी पीरियड नहीं है, ये वो छुपाते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. It's a good organization. They communicate everything really well. There are some products which don't have a warranty period and they're very open and honest about it. Completeness will help you garner that goodwill. Okay? Are we good? Do you understand? Okay, any query in this? No queries? Okay. Fair enough. Next. Conciseness. Conciseness, whatever you are trying to say it in short, say it in brief. Okay? Less number of words, more information. Conciseness. It means wordiness, that is communicating what you want to convey in least possible words. Okay? When you are able to do that, if you practice conciseness in your communication, it will be time and cost saving. Right? If I'm telling you whatever I want to tell you in short, it saves your time. If you want to like print it out or something, it will eventually save your cost as well. Okay? And as it is, time is money. So, yeah. Highlights the main message as it avoids using excessive words. I'm trying to say in short precisely whatever I'm trying to say. So I'll end up highlighting the keywords, which is beneficial in the long run. Right? It is more appealing and comprehensible. Comprehensible, easy to understand. Okay? And when something is said in short, it's more appealing. ये जो notes मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, आपके module पढ़ने में और ये पढ़ने में आप ये option prefer करेंगे ना? इससे फटाफट हो रहा है ना? हाँ. So it's more appealing and comprehensible. Also, it is non-repetitive. Module में जो घुमा घुमा के उन्होंने एक ही बात बोला है, जिसने मेरे पूरे weekend को बर्बाद किया है. Right? So that will not happen with you because you have information in the concise form. Right? Are we good? Any queries? No query. Okay. Fair enough. Correctness. Okay. What is correctness? Ki I have done my research and I have ensured that whatever information comes to you is correct to the best of my knowledge. Okay. It is particular and clear, not fuzzy and general. Fuzzy, घुमा घुमा के लिखा है, ऐसे नहीं है. I know this and I'm directly telling you whatever I know to the best of my knowledge. Okay? It is supported with facts and figures. Always. Whatever I say is verifiable. Okay? Uses words that are clear and build reputation of the organization. It cannot be misinterpreted because it's very, very correct. Okay? So that's the point. Concreteness. Oh, principle ही देखो ना. I think I misspelled it. I said correctness. No, I meant concreteness. Concreteness, what does it mean? It shows strength in your argument, isn't it? When is there a strength in your argument? Like if I'm telling you that in India there is a problem of female infanticide, okay, bhroon hatya. If I say there is a problem, it is an opinion, isn't it? But if I back that claim with statistics, okay, for every X number of men, only X number of women are there, then that statistics backing my opinion makes my opinion a fact. समझ में आया? So that's concreteness. It is particular and clear, not fuzzy and general. It is supported with facts and figures. It uses words that are clear, and over a period of time, this builds the reputation of the organization. It cannot be misinterpreted because it's always very, very correct and on point. Are we good? ठीक है? No query? यार तुम तो कुछ तो पूछो. ये बच्चे मतलब तुम तो कुछ तो पूछो. तुम्हें भी कुछ क्वेरी नहीं है? नो डाउट, नो डाउट. ओके. कौन है ये नो होमवर्क प्लीज? फटके दूंगा. ओके. हाँ. Courtesy. Okay. What is courtesy? Courtesy is politeness in communication. Okay. When you are polite, you are taking other person's feeling into consideration and you're making a conscious effort to get through to that person. Right? So that's courtesy. Shows how the sender's expression is sincerely polite, judicious. ठीक है? Judicious यानी कि क्या? Diplomatic. Reflective. It reflects me as a person. How I communicate reflects me as a person. And enthusiastic and his respect for the receiver. All of this is visible from how courteous that person is. Right? For example, when I meet my friends, the way I communicate is not very respectful. Right? We are on an equal footing. But when I speak with Gaikar sir or when I speak with Dushan sir, that's not how I talk. Right? There's a distance of respect between us. So that's courtesy. Taking into consideration viewpoints and feelings of the receiver and customizing your communication accordingly is courtesy. You should be positive and always focused on the audience, because when your audience changes, what is interpreted as courtesy will also change. Okay? And you should never be biased in your communication because it's considered discourteous. Okay? To be biased in your communication. What is to be biased in your communication? If I'm trying to sell a product and I know it's harmful for you, but I'm trying to market it, okay, that's being biased in my communication. Okay, so it's discourteous to peddle lies, but then that will also violate concreteness. So if you look at these principles, they're all intertwined. Okay, are we good? Do you understand? No doubt. Yes, polite, respectful. That's courtesy. Hey, Gautam. Hey, Deva. Okay. Okay. Shall we continue? Correctness. I by mistakenly pronounced concreteness as correctness. Correctness is when there is no grammatical error in your communication. मैम grammatical error है तो principle कैसे violate हो रहा है? When there is grammatical error in communication, How does it violate a principle of communication? It shows that you haven't invested enough efforts, you haven't taken enough interest to make sure that the communication is error free, right? So that is important, that there are no grammatical errors in your communication. Message should be exact, it should be correct, and it should be well timed, right? For example, if I have to make a decision regarding purchase, you should send the catalog to me well in advance so that I can take a look at different things and then make a decision, right? Boosts up the confidence level of the receiver if you are correct in your message and not constantly revising it with new facts every now and then. Greater impact on audience or reader will be there if you are correct. Precision and accuracy of facts and figures will ensure correctness in the message. Also, the language that you use should be appropriate and correct. Now, what does that last point mean, appropriate and correct language? अगर कोई गुजर जाता है तो हम बोलते हैं ना वे गुजर गए या ना वो मर गया. You don't say that, right? Why do you not say that? Because it's inappropriate. In English, you say that person left for his heavenly abode. You say he passed away, right? It's subtle. There's a euphemism in it. You're taking the other person's feeling into consideration. It's courteous and correct. Understood what I'm trying to say? So you'll see that these principles are mostly intertwined, right? Are we good? Any query? No query? Okay. Sure, no query, nothing? Okay. Consideration for receiver. If you have to be courteous, you have to be considerate, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. These principles are really intertwined, right? Yeah. So what is consideration for the receiver? Implies stepping into the shoes of others. किसी और की जगह जाके सोचना. That is consideration for receiver. Attempt to envisage your audience. I am attempting to envisage my audience. I can't see any of you. I'm trying to. Visage means face. Envisage is to envision that person's face. Okay. Attempt to envisage your audience, their requirements, emotions, as well as problems. So, whatever message I'm communicating, when you receive that message, how will you react? I should think about this. If that is the reaction that I want, only then I will go ahead with my communication. Okay? Emphasize you attitude. What is you attitude? You attitude is very important over here. Okay? What is you attitude? You attitude is when you construct sentences in a manner in which you are giving more importance to the other person. Okay? उससे क्या होता है? देखो, जब मुझे एक लेटर मिलता है, ठीक है ना, और उसे मैं पढ़ रही हूं, तो मैं यही देख रही हूँ ना कि इसमें मेरे मतलब का क्या है. मैं यही देख रही हूँ ना कि इसमें मेरे मतलब का क्या है कि नहीं? Now, if you directly tell me उसमें मेरे मतलब का क्या है, it takes away the thinking process from me. Let me give you an example. For example, suppose you are running a business and for Diwali you have announced that you will be giving like X amount of discount to people. Okay? There are two ways in which you can say this, right? You can say that ICANN Academy will now be giving 30% discount on occasion of Diwali. We are not giving anything up. Please, Dushyant sir ko phone karke pareshan mat karo. This is just an example. Suppose we say that ICANN Academy is giving 30% discount. Now, there are two ways of saying this. Now, one is the way in which I said, where I'm giving more importance to us. ICANN Academy is giving 30% discount on occasion of Diwali, right? Another way of saying this, the more effective way of saying this is that you can now avail 30% discount at ICANN Academy for Diwali. Understood? So, जब आप ये वाक्य पढ़ते हैं, ICANN Academy is now giving 30% discount on occasion of Diwali, आप सोच रहे हो, ओ मतलब अगर मैं एडमिशन लूंगा तो मुझे 30% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा, राइट? वो थिंकिंग प्रोसेस ही हम सामने वाले व्यक्ति से छीन रहे हैं ना, जब हम डायरेक्टली उसको बोल रहे हैं यू कैन नाउ अवेल 30% डिस्काउंट. सो दैट कम्युनिकेशन इज मोर इफेक्टिव. ओके? ये जो बुक्स तुम खरीदते हो, कोई वर्कबुक अगर तुमने खरीदा होगा तो उसके पीछे तुम देखना वो डायरेक्टली लिखते हैं कि यू कैन इंप्रूव योर इंग्लिश इफ यू सॉल्व वन वर्कशीट पर डे, राइट? वो कभी ऐसे नहीं लिखते दिस बुक विल हेल्प यू इंप्रूव योर इंग्लिश, ऐसे नहीं लिखते, डायरेक्टली बोलते यू कैन. दैट इज यू एटीट्यूड. आर वी गुड? giving more importance to the receiver in the communication. Empathize with audience and exhibit interest in them. This is so important, right? There's this person, Simon Sinek. Okay, I'll just write his name and put in the chat. You can like look him up later on. I hate self-help books. I just hate self-help books. And there are very few motivational speakers who actually I find are doing a good job. Simon Sinek is one of them, and he says that in one of his interactions with corporates, a person told him that how do you know if a person actually cares? Okay, in a business environment where if there's cutthroat competition, how do you know if a person actually cares? You know it if, like if you're passing by in the corridor, okay, and you say, hi, how are you? And that person who said, how are you, actually waits and listens to you. That means that person cares. We are passing by and I say good morning and I walk away, and I'm not waiting to make eye contact with you where you're wishing me back, it means I don't care. But that simple gesture of a second, okay, good morning, right? How are you? Huh? Great, good. That effort which is made in communication over there, that shows consideration. Okay? Show optimism and emphasize on what is possible. Always be positive in your communication. दुनिया में वैसे ही बहुत नेगेटिविटी है यार, ठीक है ना? So if you are sad, please communicate that you are sad, but communicate it in a safe environment where you are seeking advice from a mental health professional who can actually help you with it. But in a business environment, when you are communicating, be optimistic about whatever you are pitching. अगर तुम्हें खुद भरोसा नहीं है कि तुम जो बोल रहे हो वो 100% वर्क करने वाला है, तो कोई और उसमें इन्वेस्ट क्यों करेगा, right? So show optimism and emphasize on what is possible rather than what are the things that could go wrong. What are the things that could go wrong? ये तुमने इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे सोचा होना चाहिए और उसके लिए कंटिजेंट फंड तुमने तैयार रखा होना चाहिए. लेकिन जब तुम कम्युनिकेट करते हो, ऑलवेज बी पॉजिटिव, कॉन्फिडेंट एंड फोकस ऑन व्हाट इज पॉसिबल. ओके, आर वी गुड? नो डाउट, नो डाउट, यू गाइज हैव नो डाउट ओनली. ओके, इस पे भी कोई डाउट नहीं है. ग्रेट. ओके, fair enough. Okay, so let's move on to the last part of our theory chapter for today. Okay, this is a very interesting concept. Like first time when I read about it like some 3 years ago. I was really fascinated by it. Like, I'm really fascinated by psychology. I like reading about it. So look at this जोहारी विंडो. ओके, सो ये आजकल कपल्स करते हैं ना ऐसे, दोनों का नाम उठा के. ठीक है, फाइन. आई डोंट नो व्हाई रिसर्चर्स डिड दैट, बट या. So there are two different researchers. The first guy, his name is Joseph Luft, and the second guy, his name is Harry Inge. Okay, so they came up with this model, and the model is called the Johari window. Okay, what Johari window basically does is, let me have your absolute and unconditional attention when I'm explaining this. एक बार का समझ के निकलो, ठीक है ना? मेरे साथ एक बार का समझ के निकलो. हाँ, what it basically does is, it divides personal awareness into 4 different types as represented by its 4 quadrants. Which are the 4 quadrants? Open self, blind self, hidden self and undiscovered self. Okay, open self वाला जो quadrant है ना, उसमें मेरे बारे में वो बातें हैं जो मुझे पता है और जो मेरे पियर्स को भी पता है. पियर्स साबुन नहीं रे, PWRS, पियर्स, मेरे दोस्त या जो भी सोसाइटी एट लार्ज जो लोग हैं उन्हें भी पता है, ठीक है ना? तो मेरे बारे में वो बातें जो मुझे भी पता है और औरों को भी पता है. The open quadrant has information about you that both you and others know about yourself. Now, the larger the open quadrant of your personality, the more effective a communicator you are. Why so? Let's look at the other quadrants and then we'll come back to explore this sentence. Okay? Are we good? Look at the other quadrant. Hidden self. Hidden self, where does it intersect? Known to self, unknown to others. Correct? Hannah, you can look at that image, right? Known to self, unknown to others. That's where the hidden self comes. X-axis, Y-axis, agar tum karoge to. Right? Hidden self has information about you that you know but others don't know. So if there are things about me that I know but others don't know, it's okay. But if I'm constantly worried that, oh my god, they will find out, oh my god, they will find out, then that fear will create anxiety and it will not let me be honest in my communication. It will stop me from being an effective communicator. Right? तो तुम्हारा hidden self जितना बड़ा उतने बुरे communicator तुम. Because there are things in the hidden self which you know about yourself and others don't know, and you're constantly worried that things might get out. Then you won't be an effective communicator. Right? Look at the next self, blind self. Blind self, unknown to self, known to others. Right? So it's my blind spot. There are certain qualities about me which I am not aware of, which others are aware of. Right? So only if you tell me I will know it. Right? So that is the blind self. For example, if I am not an effective communicator, as my student, you should tell me that so that I can improve as a teacher. Isn't it? So your feedback will help me reduce my blind self, because blind self has facts which you guys know, I don't know. Correct? So it will help me reduce my blind self. Similarly, if there are things about me which I know and you don't know, and I'm constantly worried that you might find out about it, I might as well be honest and tell you about it. So, giving feedback will reduce the hidden self. Taking feedback will reduce the blind self. When hidden self and blind self reduces, the open arena will become bigger and bigger. And as the open arena becomes bigger and bigger, you will become a more effective communicator. Now do you see why a larger open arena indicates that you're a better communicator? कळतंय का तुम्हाला मी काय बोलतीये? पक्का? We good? कुछ ज्यादा ही गुड़ हो तुम लोग. इतने गुड़ हो गए तो समझ में कैसे आएगा मुझे? I mean, a class should have like some naughty kids, some kids who don't get things in the first go, some really sharp kids. That makes sense. All smarty pants, then what the hell am I doing here taking class for you? Okay, fine. Let's speak about that last quadrant, undiscovered self. What is the undiscovered self? It has information about you that you know, that neither you know nor others know. ना तुम्हें पता है ना दूसरों को पता है, तो वो है ये कैसे पता है? No, there are things about you which you will discover if you engage in self-reflection. So individuals who engage in journaling, individuals who go for a meditation program and come back as a different person, there are things that you discover about yourself when you're engaging in self-reflection. There are things that others will notice about you over a period of time. Right? So these things which at the given point in time you don't know about yourself and others also don't know about yourself will come in the undiscovered self. Okay? How do you eliminate undiscovered self? By self-reflection. Okay? So hidden self will become less by constant, by giving constant feedback. Blind self will become less by constantly taking feedback. And undiscovered self will become less by engaging in self-reflection. And as our open self becomes bigger and bigger, we will end up becoming better communicators. Are we good? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's Johari window. That's the basic concept that they came up with, which is really interesting. It is named after its inventors, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. It divides personal awareness into 4 different types as represented by its 4 quadrants: open, hidden, blind and unknown. Okay? The lines dividing the 4 panes are like window shades which can move as an interaction progresses. I told you they can move, right? These quadrants will shrink and open arena will become bigger and bigger. If you refuse to share, then hidden self will become bigger or bigger, and your open self will become smaller and smaller. So these frames can move, they are mobile. It depends on how you grow as a person, right? Each person is represented by their own window in the model. Are we good? Do you understand? Like, seriously, just take 2 minutes and read this. If you don't understand, ask me, I'll explain it. बाकी सब क्या है मतलब general things ना, this is something specific. I really think you should like take a minute and read it and ask me if you have any query. Really, no comments. Guys, are you there? Is anyone watching? Say something. I don't understand. Your WhatsApp group has 200 plus kids and only 8 kids are watching the lecture right now. These people don't have an exam in November or what? Sorry? हाँ क्या 18 are watching क्या? Okay. Self-disclosure means what? Oh, Gautam, thank you. Atul, what does self-disclosure mean? Self-disclosure means if there is something about me that you don't know and I am uncomfortable revealing it. देखो मेरे लाइफ में ना सिंपल फंडा है, कोई भी चीज करने से पहले सोचो कि ये करने से मैं शर्मिंदा होंगी या नहीं. अगर शर्मिंदा होने वाली हूँ तो मैं वो करूंगी नहीं, और अगर कर लिया तो शर्मिंदा होना नहीं. ठीक है ना, कर लिया तो कर लिया, अभी क्या है मतलब, ठीक है ना. So that's how I function. But there are things in people's lives which they might not be comfortable disclosing, right? When you are uncomfortable disclosing something about yourself, it comes from a place of guilt, it comes from a place of shame. And as long as you have these emotions within you, you will not be an effective communicator. So you should seek help to eliminate these emotions and come to a point in your life where you are okay with revealing those aspects of your life with everyone. It will make you an effective communicator क्योंकि तुम्हें डर नहीं रहेगा, तुम्हें anxiety नहीं रहेगा. Right? Okay, I hope you get it. कुछ बच्चे recorded lectures देखते हैं. Okay. Vishnu is consoling me. Okay. Johari window school क्या? Like, you guys understand what I'm saying? Are we good? Okay. Now, when I am speaking, give me your absolute and unconditional attention. I've changed the slide, everyone. This particular, when I have to use this particular model, these are the adjectives which are given to me. I can use these adjectives to describe a person. Okay, so there are two people participating in the Johari window. One is the individual, and the other person is a representative of his peers. And I can choose adjectives for myself. The other person can choose adjectives for me. And whichever adjective will remain that is not used will go in the undiscovered self column. Okay, are we good? So that's how these adjectives work. I have enlisted these in my notes. You can take a look at them. Okay. Now, let's see where these adjectives go. Okay, in the 4 quadrants. Give me your absolute and unconditional attention. Adjectives selected by both the participant and the peers are placed into the arena quadrant because they are things that I know about myself and others also know about myself. So the adjectives which I choose and which you guys agree with, we can put in the open column, in the open arena column. Okay? Adjectives selected only by the participants. These are things only I know about myself. So adjectives which only I choose will go in the facade column or the hidden column. ठीक है ना? Oh, इसमें in the hidden column. Okay? हाँ. Adjectives that are not selected by the participant but only by the peers are placed into the blind spot. Okay? Adjectives which are not selected either by the participants or by the peers remain in the unknown quadrant. This can be due to collective ignorance of that trait. Self reflection नहीं हुआ है, तुम मुझे उतने टाइम से नहीं जानते हो इसलिए तुम्हें पता नहीं है. ठीक है? The process, this is very important, the process of enlarging the open quadrant is called self-disclosure. A give and take process between me and the people I interact with. Thus, an interaction between two parties can be modeled dynamically, ever changing. And that's why the frames are mobile, as two active Johari windows. Are we good? Do you understand? Take a moment, read this on your own, ask me if you have any query. When I say read, please read. 2 घंटे वक्त दे रहे हो ना मुझे दिन का, तो उसका पूरा पूरा फायदा करके लेना है, राइट? हमारा एग्जाम है हमारे सामने, ज्यादा वक्त भी नहीं है हमारे पास, तो क्लास में टीचिंग होगा, फिर बाद में हम लर्निंग करेंगे, फिर हम रिवाइज करके भी वेळच नाही आपल्याकडे, राइट? हाँ. We are good? Sure? Okay. As you say. प्लीज एक्सप्लेन ब्लाइंड स्पॉट वन मोर टाइम. ये अतुल मतलब तुझे डाउट है इसलिए तू पूछ रहा है, मेरा दिल रखने के लिए पूछ रहा है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. ओके फाइन. एनीवे, blind spot is information about me that I don't know. So it's a blind spot for me. But it is something that you know and you can communicate with me. Right? So information about self, which is a blind spot for self, but peers are aware about it. So if you give me feedback, I can eliminate my blind spot and become a better teacher, become a better communicator. Right? So do give me feedback about my class. This, me encouraging you to give me feedback about my class, is to reduce my blind spot. So what is blind spot? Information about me that I don't know, but you know. Okay? Are we good? Okay, let me know, Atul. Okay. Are we good? Sure? Okay. So, what I have done is, इतने जल्दी लॉग आउट मत करो, हुआ नहीं है अभी क्लास, ठीक है ना? I have divided the class into 2 parts. First half of the class, every day I will take theory. Okay? And next half of the class, I will take vocabulary. Because continuously theory and continuously vocabulary will not work out. क्या तुम इतने सारे सिनोनिम एंटोनिम एक साथ बैठ के ऐसे अंदर डालोगे ना तो सब कुछ बाहर आएगा और पेपर से पहले बाहर आएगा, वो प्रॉब्लम है. ठीक है ना? तो हर रोज थोड़े थोड़े वर्ड्स एंटोनिम्स, थोड़े थोड़े सिनोनिम्स ऐसे सीखेंगे, मतलब ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम collectively it will work for us. Okay? So this is the next part of our class, synonyms and antonyms. ठीक है? Synonyms क्या है? हमने किया है ना, समानार्थी शब्द, मतलब हमने नहीं किया है but तुमने किया होगा ना कभी तो, समानार्थी शब्द, विरुद्धार्थी शब्द. You've done this, right? It's very easy. So let me quickly revise it for you and then maybe we'll do an exercise in class. Okay? Do you want to do this today? Because you don't have printouts. I will prefer you having printouts because then we can solve in class, and it will help you solve the homework as well. All clear, we are good. Okay. um Let me do a thing. I'll end the class here today. Okay. Please make sure that you take printout of the notes that I have shared with you. Okay. Tomorrow we will study synonyms and antonyms. We will solve the exercise in class, and tomorrow you can solve the crosswords for homework. आज कोई homework नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. दो चीजें करना है. एक नोट्स का प्रिंट आउट निकालना है, ठीक है. दूसरा, वो नोट्स का जो थियोरी वाला हिस्सा है वो पढ़ो. कल कोई क्वेरी है तो तुम मुझे पूछ सकते हो. जो सेकेंड हाफ है वोकैबुलरी का, जो हम कल से हर रोज करेंगे, वो आज मैं नहीं करती हूँ, ठीक है. टुडे इज आवर फर्स्ट क्लास, विल टेक इट इजी, ठीक है. बट टू थिंग्स, वन प्रिंट आउट, and two, go through the theory. Ask me if you have any query tomorrow. Do not welsh on this. Do not welsh on this. Okay? Take a printout, go through the theory, ask me if you have any query. Have the printouts ready in class. We'll go through synonyms and antonyms. We'll solve the exercise, and tomorrow you can take the crosswords as homework. आज कोई homework नहीं है. आज दो चीजें करने हैं, प्रिंट आउट निकालना है, थ्योरी पढ़ना है, ठीक है. And yeah, if you like my class, let me know that in the comment section, and maybe you can like my video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys, thank you so much. That's it, my first YouTube lecture. How do I end this thing? It's still streaming, right? How do I end it? Yeah, there is an end stream. May I click it? Okay, sorry. Bye, Atul. Bye, guys. Good day, guys. Good day.